All right, before we get the ball rolling, my wife told me to wear this sweater. I think I look like a dork. She says I look handsome, so we're going to go with it. Don't at me. In a few short days, Rocket Lab will be reporting their Q1 2024 results. Let's take a look ahead at what we can expect. My name is Scott. Welcome to the channel. Let's talk Rocket Lab. Starting off with guidance from the third quarter, Rocket Lab was guiding for launch revenue of 30 to 37 million, comprised of 4 to 5 launches, and space systems revenue of 65 to 68 million, for a total revenue between 95 and 105 million. This guidance was later revised during Rocket Lab's fourth quarter earnings for launch revenue of 32 to 33 million, comprised of 4 launches, and a slight downward revision to space systems revenue for 60 to 65 million, for a total revenue range of 92 to 98 million. Past this, Rocket Lab also guided for a GAAP gross margin range of 24 to 26%, GAAP operating expenses of 73 to 75 million, interest expense of 1.5 million, adjusted EBITDA loss of negative 28 to negative 30 million, and basic weighted average shares outstanding of 490 million. Putting this all together, we can expect Rocket Lab to arrive at an EPS of roughly negative 11 cents. This compares to negative 9 cents for Wall Street expectation. Now, if you're new to the channel, the model that I built for Rocket Lab is intentionally conservative. But either way, if you're here for this video, you're probably less concerned about the EPS for quarter one and more curious about Q2 and beyond. So, let's get into it. Starting with launch, Rocket Lab already has April 24th's NASA-cased rideshare mission under their belt. Past this, we had the 2 NASA pre-fire missions that were originally planned for May, delayed indefinitely, rescheduled to August, delayed again, and then rescheduled back into May. The first of these back-to-back pre-fire missions is scheduled to launch no earlier than May 22nd, with the second mission scheduled to take place within 3 weeks of the successful deployment of the first pre-fire mission, so ideally mid-June. These missions will be Rocket Lab's 48th and 49th Electron missions overall, and their 6th and 7th launches of 2024. Comparing the delta for the launch dates, we have an average of 24 days for the first 4 launches of the year. This is then followed by 34 days between Electron 46 and 47, and now we know to expect 28 days between Electron 47 and 48, that being pre-fire number 1, then less than 3 weeks, so less than 21 days between Electron 48 and Electron 49. Past this, we can expect the first of 5 Kinesis launches starting in June, with hopefully 1 additional mission squeezed into the second quarter. All this to say, Rocket Lab is going to need a serious increase in their launch cadence if they're still planning to hit 22 to 24 launches this year. Next up, let's get into backlog. Following the release of Rocket Lab's full year 2023 earnings, we are able to break down backlog into launch services of 248 million, space systems of 798 million, with a total backlog of 1,046 million. Assuming Rocket Lab meets guidance, we know how much of this backlog will be recognized throughout quarter one. Past this, we also have a good idea of how much backlog was added throughout the quarter as well. This includes STP-30, Victus Haze, and 2 haste missions that may or may not have been announced already. All in all, we can expect backlog to be slightly reduced, but still north of 1 billion. Keep in mind, the backlog doesn't seem to account for Rocket Lab's unannounced reaction wheel customer. In a nutshell, something big is on the way, and soon. During the Q4 call, when asked about the Mega Constellation customer, Adam Spice mentioned that the reaction wheels will start to ship in a meaningful way this year, following up by saying, "This year will be a very good year for growth in our reaction wheels business." So as far as what to look forward to from the Q1 call, the reaction wheel customer announcement is the top of my list, followed by an Archimedes/Neutron timeframe update and some news about Electron's next recovery mission. So we won't spend too much time speculating on the status of Archimedes. For better or worse, we're going to receive that either the Archimedes hot fire has already happened, or that it's been pushed back and will be happening soon. So if it's already happened and has gone well, we can expect Neutron's first customer announcement in the not too distant future. Rumor has it that we can expect AST Space Mobile's first 2400 square foot next generation Block 2 Bluebird satellite to be on board. But while I'm not entirely sold on this rumor, I also certainly wouldn't rule it out. Let's move forward into Electron's next recovery mission. On April 10th, we received information that the booster from January 31st's 4-of-a-kind mission has passed a number of acceptance tests, including a tank pressurization test, a helium leak check, as well as carbon fiber structural testing. During TD Cowen's 45th Annual Aerospace and Defense Conference on February 14th, Adam Spice mentioned the plan is to do at least one more recovery mission this year, that the full booster reuse has been pushed into 2025, and that the next step for Electron recoveries would be to fly a full power pack of 9 previously flown Rutherford engines. So the update that we saw on April 10th, that update would be for 2025's booster reuse. I'm hoping that on Monday we hear an update for the recovery mission set to reuse the 9 previously flown Rutherford engines. Past this, I'm hoping to hear some clarification about the status of the MDA Globalstar contract. From the Q3 results, assembly and integration continues ahead of the delivery of the first of 17 spacecraft in the first quarter. Now this seems to have been pushed back. In the Q4 results, it was mentioned that the components and subsystems integration is up next. Now important to note that these earnings were released on February 27th, so roughly 2/3 of the way through the first quarter already. On April 17th, Rocket Lab updated us with a photo of the first payload module being shipped. It's unclear if this is the actual first spacecraft in its entirety or just the payload module. If you look at this video of the Rocket Lab team working on an Explorer, then compare that to the size discrepancy of the Explorer and the Lightning, this crate seems much too small to be a full-size Lightning spacecraft. So if this contract is seeing significant delays, this will push back the revenue recognition and affect Space Systems margins due to Rocket Lab's propensity towards fixed cost contracts rather than cost plus, as is the industry standard. Last but not least, we can hope for an acquisition announcement. Rocket Lab hasn't been shy about the acquisition targets over the past few months, and whatever the acquisition ends up being will give us insight into what Rocket Lab's constellation might end up becoming. But I'll pass the mic to you. Did I miss anything? What are you looking forward to from Rocket Lab's Q1? Be sure to leave a comment below, and be sure to check out the Patreon to view and download the valuation models that I reference to make these videos for you. Thank you for the hangout. I'll see you guys after earnings. Have an awesome day. Peace.